And we begin tonight with more flooding in parts of our area. This is video showing flooding at the Frio River. You can see the rushing waters. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mandy Noel. Tonight we have team coverage on the Frio River flooding. We have crews set up in Concan and Leakey, and we also continue coverage in Kerr County, also dealing with severe weather, as crews try to continue search and recovery while dealing with severe weather. There are several camps and RV parks along the Frio River. Here's a look at just some of them. There are also some children's camps, including the H.E. Butt Foundation Camp. We know those camps are safe tonight. And we begin team coverage in Leakey. That's where we find News 4 San Antonio's Jordan Elder. She's live with the latest there. Hey, Jordan.
Mandy, we have been all over the viewing area today getting a look at flooding, and I can tell you this is the highest that we've seen it. We are just south of Leakey, Texas. This is the Frio River. We're at the River Bluffs cabins, and so we're up on a hill. We are safe, just like all of the campers here. But as you can see, this river is still rushing down. Now, we got to talk to the owner, Doug Shoemaker. He says this rain is going to be helpful for the Frio River community. This is a medium flood based on what he has seen over the years.
Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with the people in Guadalupe and the surrounding areas. The Frio River is a different river system than the Guadalupe. This was actually an answer to prayers by, we've been praying for 7 years for some big rains. We need this kind of rain here. It helps the aquifers, it helps the springs.
We also checked in on Garner State Park. County officials were able to get everyone notified early, so people staying right along the river were able to get to higher ground. We're told even though the water is muddy right now, this rain is actually going to lead to better conditions next week. Water you'll be able to see straight through. Especially after what happened along the Guadalupe River, park officials say communication was extra important this morning.
25 years ago, we didn't have the cell phones, and so we didn't have the opportunity to sit there and look at a radar and go, this is where it's going, this is what's happening. So the technology today, and it's only going to improve from here on out, to be able to sit there and call and text a group of people that's in the area and say, and talk with the sheriff's deputies and let them know, and post pictures so they can see what's coming down and give us the idea of what's coming down. It's a game changer in our area.
We also stopped by Uvalde Memorial Park, where the sidewalk turned into kind of a waterfall because the Leona River rose today. We also got another view of the Frio River downstream in Canepa. Now, the water levels are still ebbing and flowing out here, but this is not record-breaking right now. I want to show you, Mr. Shoemaker told us the most water he has seen in this river, it went halfway up this blue sign that says River Rules. So obviously nowhere close to that right now, but he said it's definitely something that they're still watching. And he told us all about the communication system that property owners along the Frio River use to help notify each other in these situations. We're going to tell you more about those coming up at 6.
Jordan, thank you. Another one of the big camps in that area is Neil's Lodges. We continue our team coverage with News 4 San Antonio's Taylor Whartonby, who's in Concan and joins us with the latest.
Here in Concan, in this small hill country community, they are experiencing floods from the Frio River that you can see right behind me. Now, the population is about 300 people, but the area brings in a lot of tourists who go on vacation to nearby camps. Neil's Lodges, a family-owned vacation spot on the Frio River, is one of them. When water started to overflow, surging through roads, they made sure to evacuate certain cabins, ones who were closest to the river for safety.
We're thinking maybe a 12-foot raise here at Neil's, which, you know, it's dissipated when it gets here. So it's really, really needed, really prayed for. And like I said before, I say that with grace because we are so devastated by what happened in Kerrville. But for us, this is prayed for. We've had a drought for 7-something years. I think it's probably 7 years, really, if you get down to it. And we needed this really bad.
Parts of Highway 127 near Neil's Lodges has been closed off just in case the water came up over the bridge. We spoke to Assistant Fire Chief Rodney Jeffries for the Concan Volunteer Fire and EMS Department. He says the water has come up to a high level. No one is allowed to cross the bridge across the Frio River, and Jeffries says they are taking extra precautions.
They're all gun shy after the deal in Kerrville, and I don't blame them.
Absolutely, but we're making sure everything's good here. Anything that people should know if they're traveling through this area?
If you can, don't come down here.
After years of drought, many people in the area are welcoming the water, but officials are saying stay away until the water goes down. I'm Taylor Whartonby reporting.
Right now, everyone is still on high alert in Kerr County. This is the latest on the Hill Country flooding disaster. There are now at least 131 confirmed deaths across Texas, 106 in Kerr County. Among them are 70 adults and 36 children. Right now, there are still about 97 people missing in Kerr County, according to Governor Abbott. Today, the Kerr County Sheriff's Office asked all volunteers helping with rescue and recovery efforts to move to higher ground because of the incoming weather. Tonight, News 4 San Antonio's Ethan Trejo is live in Ingram with the latest. Ethan, what are you seeing there?
Well, Mandy, as you can see, I'm here along the Guadalupe River where flood warnings and heavy rainfall ended up stopping search and rescue operations for the second straight day. Here in Ingram, first responders were called off by another round of storms that made its way to the area, raising the water a few feet higher along the Guadalupe River. Operation managers at Ingram Volunteer Fire Department say this extra round of river flow could be either helpful or detrimental for search and rescue efforts moving forward.
We'll get back on the areas that we know that needs more work, and then we'll go from there.
They also told me that setbacks are a frustrating scenario for first responders who are anxious to get out and help. Recon teams are still stationed along the river to watch for any significant changes in those water levels. Until then, we're told that search and rescue operations are expected to continue tomorrow at around 8 a.m. From Ingram, I'm Ethan Trejo.
Governor Abbott gave another update today on the flooding that has devastated our area and other parts of central Texas. He talked in more detail, too, about the number of people still missing in the Kerrville area, which he said was 97. He says he's hopeful that some of the people considered missing are eventually found to have survived.
Even though we are reporting 97 people missing, there's no certainty that all 97 of those people were swept away by the storm.
The governor also says the goal is to find every single person who passed away so their families can have closure. Tonight, new details on how the flooding and evacuation unfolded at Camp Mystic. Camp spokesperson tells the Washington Post Executive Director Dick Eastland did receive the urgent alert from the National Weather Service, but evacuations did not begin until about an hour later. 27 campers and counselors died when the camp was overtaken by floodwaters on July 4th, as the Guadalupe rivers rose to historic heights. At Mystic, the problem was not just the rising Guadalupe River, but also a rising creek. Cypress Creek and the Guadalupe meet within the 725-acre camp. As the Post explains, the current from the creek was so fast, it likely reversed the flow of the Guadalupe River. This caused the floodwaters to widen and move uphill, reaching cabins both within and outside of areas in high-risk flood zones. It also created a swirl around Bubble Inn and the Twins cabins. Jeff Carr, a spokesperson for the Eastland family, tells the Post at 1:14 a.m., Dick Eastland received the urgent alert from the National Weather Service on his phone. At 1:35, other family members who run the camp were alerted and told to assess the situation. The historic rise of the river began roughly around 2 a.m. When the rain didn't let up, cabin evacuations began around 2:30 that morning. Dick Eastland died trying to evacuate Bubble Inn. No one from the cabin has been found alive. Dick's youngest son, Edward Eastland, evacuated the Twins cabins. According to the Post, Edward was later found clinging to a tree with 10 to 12 campers. They all survived. Commissioners in Kerr County held their first official court hearing since the devastating floods. Tonight, there are still questions about whether the county was prepared. County officials say they'll investigate their emergency alert systems, flood warnings, and evacuation protocols. County officials say the search for people could last for months.
I've been assured by the governor and the president, we will have the resources to get the job done. How long is it going to take? Who knows? I think we'll still go strong for another month or two, up to maybe 6 months, winding down as we move on.
Commissioners also say they've been getting death threats over the tragedy. They're asking for more security as the response is being investigated. And don't forget, News 4 San Antonio is partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares Texas Tragedy Relief. So far, we've raised over $170,000. Just scan the QR code to help provide meals for first responders and survivors who desperately need our help. Continuing our coverage tonight on the flooding along the Frio River. News 4 San Antonio's Emma Allen is live in Concan with the latest that we're seeing there.
Well, we are just off of Highway 127, right outside of Concan, and you can see this is what we're seeing. The road is closed for obvious reasons. That is the Frio River that is running really high up over that road. I just spoke to some locals in the area who tell me that that is actually a bridge. So this water is that high, if you can see right there. We've seen some logs, some trees, a lot of debris in that area. You can see there's actually a tree that's stuck over there that looks to be getting pushed around by the water. We were just up the road a little bit ago looking at Brushy Creek that actually runs into this, but this road right here is seeing a lot higher water right now, and you can see that current is just massive. We are looking for more areas like this. We're actually trying to get deeper into Uvalde County so we can see more roads like this, but unfortunately this road's blocked off. Reporting in Uvalde County, I'm Emma Allen.
With so many questions surrounding the time it took to evacuate during the flooding, the Washington Post is reporting that the director of Camp Mystic did not begin evacuations until an hour after receiving an urgent alert on his phone. 27 girls and counselors died at the camp, including Director Dick Eastland. The News 4 I-Team's reporter Jay Avila is looking into that report and reaching out to the Eastland family. Tonight, a representative tells him the article was premature. Jay joins us now with the latest.
Well, Mandy, the spokesman tells me the Washington Post article was based on a conversation with Eastland's son, Richard Jr., the day after the flood. And the family is still piecing together their own timeline from that chaotic morning. The Washington Post is reporting that at 1:14 a.m., Dick Eastland received an alert from the National Weather Service on his phone, warning of life-threatening flash flooding. And at 1:35, other families who help run the camp were alerted with walkie-talkies. The historic rise of the river began around 2 a.m. When the rain did not let up, cabin evacuations began around 2:30 a.m. Dick Eastland died trying to evacuate girls from the cabin called Bubble Inn. No one from that cabin has been found alive. Jeff Carr, a spokesman for the Eastland family, tells News 4 Dick Eastland was outside assessing the flooding along with a night watchman shortly after the 1:14 a.m. National Weather Service alert, and says it's logical he got the warning because Eastland typically received them on his phone. But Carr says it's too early to say when staff members began evacuating children because people weren't looking at their watches. He says the Eastland family wants to release a detailed timeline of their own with help from that night watchman. We're working on it, Carr said. The only audience they care about are the families of the victims. Camp Mystic passed a state inspection 2 days before the flood, and according to inspection records, the camp had an emergency plan that included flood evacuations and that staff and volunteers were aware of the plan. We're continuing to investigate all angles of the flooding and will update any new information as we press for answers. For the News 4 I-Team, I'm Jay Avila.
We are taking another look at exclusive aerial video in Uvalde County from your South Texas dealer Sky 4. This is the Frio River near Concan and areas near Garner State Park. You can see the water in the river moving very quickly tonight. And this is an aerial video that you'll only see here on News 4. Rising water once again cut off access to parts of Kerr County, still reeling from the deadly July 4th floods. News 4 San Antonio's Yami Virgin is on one of the back roads into Hunt, and she continues our team coverage.
We were trying to get to Hunt, to the area where the camps were flooded over. We took 1340, but this is as far as we could go. Benson's Crossing, where the water of the Guadalupe River is now stopping us from going further. FM 1340 is one of the main roads leading into the area near Camp Mystic, where tragedy struck just 10 days ago. We took this road to see how the Guadalupe River was behaving, but like many others, we had to stop at Benson's Crossing. Floodwater was at least 2 feet over the road, stopping everyone. People hoping to return home were forced to wait. Some told us even if they made it past this point, other crossings ahead were completely underwater. Curtis Wright had been sitting here for a couple of hours. He told us he ventured out for supplies only to find himself cut off.
Went into town, did my errands, and of course it starts raining again. On the way out, I could tell that last night from yesterday's rains, the North Fork seemed to have flooded more. So I thought I would come around the back way. I'm just waiting to see if it'll go down, because hopefully the rain stopped and the river will drop and I can get home. I just have 2 crossings.
While the wait is frustrating, many here told us they know they're the fortunate ones, alive and able to go home eventually, even if not tonight. In Kerr County, Dami Virgen, News 4, San Antonio.